Okay, so I think that the gender norms that we're indoctrinated to by our families, the media, and education are the simple ones, like men are supposed to be like our bastardized version of stoicism, where you're like not supposed to show any emotion except for anger. And then women are supposed to be docile and submissive and rear their children and focus on homemaking and that kind of thing. And that limits their decisions in so many ways. But one way is that let's just focus on men for a second. Like, how are men supposed to be able to make rational decisions when they have like pushed their anger down into the point where it's just like you're gonna explode, and then the only way it's acceptable for a man to explode is through anger. So now you have like murder and abuse in situations like that, where those things are completely unacceptable and not rational decisions at all. So, and then for women, they never get a voice. If you never get a voice, the same thing is going to happen. You're going to build up that emotion, and then you're going to get this big explosion. And it might not be a big, maybe as angry explosion, because that's not how women are supposed to be. But like Professor Powers was saying in class, where you see a lot of women and they're like, after the children have gone off to college, there's an increase in divorce rates, and that's like their rebellion. It's the silent quitting thing, which I think is a really interesting concept. And not only that, but also like for people who don't fit into like our gender binary standard that we have, I imagine that it would be very, very difficult, because every time you step out of your gender norm, like the gender you present with, the sex you present with, then that has to be like explained, and a box has to be ticked, and it's just something that is on a scale. It's fluid and it's on a spectrum, and so it's not something that you can always put in a box. And I think the reason that a lot of people are holding on to gender norms so tightly is because, like stereotypes, it gives you a quick and fast assessment of someone, and it helps you know, like, okay, I see this person looks like a woman. I know what her place in society probably is. I know how I, as another woman or another man, am supposed to, or someone else, how I am then supposed to interact with her, how I'm expected to interact with her in society. So yeah, I think it just gives you a fast and probably inaccurate depiction of what's expected of you. The same way stereotypes do. Like, they're helpful, but they're mainly wrong, I would say probably about 80% of the time. And then as far as the coming of age discussions that I've had outside of class, I haven't really connected with any of the text. I thought that it really is disheartening that at every, well, not at every, but especially the girls and boys coming of age story, like, she had to accept her place in society as a woman, to be mature. Like, I just wanted to be like, no, like, you can stay in that rebellion, but you can't, because you're never going to be productive. And it really sucks that we have to have, or she at least had to step in a place in society where she was going to be silenced, and her personality was going to be like beaten down into something she just wasn't, because of gender norms and gender stereotypes. And that's really upsetting. And I wish that it could have been better for her. And then, which brings us to, do I think that gender norms are changing? Yes, I think they are, maybe for my generation, but very slowly. And an example of that would be the way that women still have to choose, like, oh, are you going to be a career woman or are you going to be a mother? And they're consistently asked to make that decision. Like, childcare is not provided at most places, but men, it's not expected of them. So that's just